Hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm Reverend Frederick Marotti, pastor of the New Fellowship Church of the Redeemer, a non-denominational church in Branford, Connecticut. And I'm so glad you've joined us today. Today's program is about communication and its pitfalls. As the Apostle James wrote, our tongues are little, but they can cause a world of iniquity and can be full of deadly poison. In James 3, 6-8, the Bible lists many common traps that Satan lays for us, and an amazing number of them have to do with what we say. Some may make light of the impact of what we say as mere words, but God tells us we are being judged by every word. Our communication is a spiritual matter. It's a reflection of our hearts. By understanding the dangers that are outlined in this lesson, we can recognize them and avoid them in our daily conversations. We hope that this biblical wisdom in this program will benefit you greatly in improving your relationships now and into eternity. Communication pitfalls. The Bible has a lot to say about our relationships, including how we communicate, how we listen to others, and what we say and don't say that can build or destroy the connections we have with others. God tells us how to avoid many common pitfalls that can damage our relationships. A father once told me, I can't understand my kid. He just won't listen to me at all. Let me restate what he just said. I replied, you don't understand your son because he won't listen to you. Well, that's right, he replied. Let me try again, I said. You don't understand your son because he won't listen to you. Well, that's what I said, he impatiently replied. I thought that to understand another person, you needed to listen to him. I suggested that. Oh, he said, and there was a long pause. Oh, he said again, as the light began to dawn. Oh, yeah, but I do understand him. I know what he's going through. I went through the same thing myself. I guess what I don't understand is why he won't listen to me. You see, this man didn't have the vaguest idea of what was really going on inside his boy's head. He looked into his own head and thought he saw the world, including his boy. So what does the Bible say about communication? Well, it says, how important does God consider the subject of communication? In Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. In Matthew 12:34-37, brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasures of his heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasures brings forth evil things. But I say to you that for every idle word men may speak, they will give account of all in the day of judgment. For by your words you'll be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. In James 3:5-8, even so the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defies the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature and is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is unruly evil, full of deadly poison. If we speak without thinking, we too often display the fruits of thinking without God. Since God is judging our every idle word, we need to give our words careful attention. Can not listening be a communication pitfall? Well, in Proverbs 18, 2 and 13, a fool has no delight in understanding, but in expressing his own heart. He who answers a matter before he hears it is a folly and shame to him. Stephen Corvey addresses our society's lack of emphasis on listening skills. Communications is the most important skill in life. We spend most of our waking hours communicating. But consider this. You've spent years learning how to read and write, years learning how to speak. But what about listening? What training or education have you had that enabled you to listen so that you really, deeply understand another human being from that individual's own frame of reference? We need to focus on the other person and force ourselves to seek understanding of his or her point of view before sharing our own. So what's the sure way of avoiding saying something wrong? In Proverbs 10:19, in the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. In Proverbs 21 and 23, if you keep your mouth shut, you will stay out of trouble. Keeping our mouth shut is a sure way of not saying something bad. But we can't get through life without communicating. In fact, Proverbs 10:19 clarifies that. It is a multitude of words that generally causes the problem. We should avoid being overly talkative and garrulous. Also, we must be very careful to think before we speak and choose our words carefully. Whatever we say should be edifying with an intent to reflect the nature of Christ and to glorify God. So what does the third commandment teach us about what we should and shouldn't say? In Exodus 20:7, do not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. In Matthew 5:33 and 37, again, you have heard that was said that those of old, you should not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Nor shall you swear by the head, because you cannot make one hair white or black. But let your yes be yes, and your no, no. For whatever's more than these is from the evil one. God's name is precious, and it's sacred, and it deserves the highest respect. Though society today so often uses it in cheap and vile ways, God allowed his name to be used in oaths and promises in the Old Testament times. But Jesus Christ told Christians, do not swear at all. We should be as careful with our words and promises as if we had sworn, because as Christians, we are to represent God honorably in our words and in our actions. What else does the Bible say about disrespectful, foul, or abusive talk? Well, in Exodus 22:28, you shall not revile God, nor cause a ruler of your people. In Peter 2:10-12, and especially those who walk according to the flesh in the lust of uncleanliness and despise authority. They are presumptuous, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries, whereas angels, who are greater in power and might, do not bring a reviling accusation against them before the Lord. But these, like natural brute beasts, made to be caught and destroyed, speak evil of the things they do not understand, and will utterly perish in their own corruption. In Ephesians 4:29, let not corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. In Ephesians 5:4, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor coarse jesting, which are not fitting, but rather giving of thanks, our words should be respectful and uplifting, whether talking about God or even other people. What does the 9th commandment teach us about truth and lying? In Exodus 20:16, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. In Proverbs 6:16-17, these 6 things the Lord hates, yes, 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood. In Ephesians 4:25, therefore, putting away lying, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. In Revelation 21:27, but there shall by no means enter it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. God is a God of truth. In Deuteronomy 32:4, and lying is the antithesis of his honest and holy nature. Our modern world doesn't value truth as highly, and it is so easy to justify just a little lie when it comes and seems to benefit us. But see, God hates lying, and he'll not allow it in his kingdom. So we must see through deceit and strive to avoid allowing lies through our lips. How does the Bible describe gossip? Well, in Leviticus 19:16, you shall not go about as a talebearer among your people. You shall take a stand against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. In Proverbs 16:27-28, an ungodly man digs up evil and is on his lips like a burning fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisper separates the best of friends. In Proverbs 26:20-22, fire goes out for lack of fuel, and quarrels disappear when the gossip stops. A quarrelsome person starts fights as easily as hot embers light charcoal or fire lights wood. What dainty morsel rumors, but they sink deep in one's heart. Gossip can seem delicious, but it can be deadly to even the best friendships. Gossip and rumors can spread like wildfire and can be just as destructive. What does the Bible say about sowing discord and causing offense? Well, in Proverbs 6:19, understand, God hates a false witness who speaks lies and one who sows discord among brethren. In Proverbs 18:19, a brother offended is harder to win than a strong city, and contentions are like the bars of a castle. Our words can have a devastating effect on others. We can create discord and offend those who trust us. Afterwards, we can't take those words back, and trying to win back someone's trust can be a nearly impossible task, as they've now built up walls of defenses to avoid being hurt again. You know, how much better to think about our words in advance and remove the pointed ones and diffuse the explosive ones. So how should we deal with others' offensive words or gossip? Well, Ecclesiastes 7:21 and 22. Also, do not take to heart everything people say, lest you hear your servant cursing you. For many times also your own heart has known that even you have cursed others. When gossip or offensive words are directed at us, we can struggle to avoid hatred, to avoid bitterness, and a desire for revenge. As much as possible, we should ignore and try to avoid hearing these things. But sometimes we'll be hurt and we'll need to deal with the situation. Well, I'm Reverend Frederick Marotti, the pastor of the New Fellowship Church of the Redeemer, a non-denominational church in Brantford, Connecticut. And I'd like to thank all of our brothers and sisters in Christ for watching this program. May God shine his light upon you and your family. I hope to see you all very soon. Please tune in for our next in the series of lessons.